Welcome back to the Brew Podcast, everyone. This is episode 234, and you're catching us right in the middle of a conversation. Just kidding. Apparently, the intro's trademark. I like that. You didn't give me enough time to think about the fact that you said that before you hit record. So now I'm thinking, wow, what a incredible honor to have been told that. Just by anybody, really.
It is trademarked because to catch you guys, to catch the Chuggalos up, we got started a little bit early today, which is great. So it's like, hey, just come over and we'll just start visiting, and we start actually talking about beer-related content.
Yeah,
and I was like,
recorded the whole thing.
Well, we should have just recorded, right? And I was like, we should do one of these as a rolling start. And JT, like any great partner, goes, yeah, that's a great idea. And I was like, but your intro is trademarked.
Right.
You know, that's why I always feel awkward.
That's why I'm glad I didn't stick with like the post intro shtick like there was for a while. I was trying to find relevant numbers to match the episode number, and then after that, I think I was doing like a random phrase or whatever.
The phrase that pays.
The phrase that pays. That's exactly right. And then I didn't do that. And now it's just, hey, welcome back. And I always do, there is pressure to say something after. Like if I just was like, welcome back to the Brew Podcast, this is episode 234, and then I just stopped.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to realize that I was not going to say anything after that? Probably, because I've said something after that for 235 episodes.
I'm not sure. I'm just going to make as many bottle and loud noises and distract from the actual content.
The noises are good. That reminds you that this is a beer podcast.
Yeah, and it's a little rough around the edges.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's okay. We could have. You have a good backdrop here. But who's that guy that does the thing in his pantry? God, what a good backdrop that guy has. The one guy. No frills or whatever.
Yeah. And he does it every day, and he might gang tape them.
Maybe he does.
But yeah.
If he changes his shirt, even more kudos to him.
I want to give him no hype beer reviews.
No hype beer reviews. Yeah, that's good outshot to him. His backdrop is amazing.
His backdrop is hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars.
Yeah, for sure. I think that would be that you could do that, or you could give it more real feel, like the church room bar. Or the carriage house, we're like just a bar. And if we were to record this at any of the local establishments we've described in the past, you'd hear a lot of noise.
Yeah, his last 6 videos, and go check him out. No Hype Beer Reviews. Tell him we sent you. He doesn't know us, but he does subscribe to our channel, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. Maybe
7 hours ago, 21 hours ago, 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. And he has hundreds of views, but just check out his backdrop.
Well, it sounds like he's doing these in like 14-hour increments.
So
he probably schedules them.
His beer shelves are hundreds of dollars.
He drinks a lot of good
stuff. But the one thing that I will say, his videos are very short. They're always under 10, 11 minutes.
Yeah, so you could consume both of our stuff. Now, we're not going to suggest another channel that has hour-long episodes. Because you only got time for one 1-hour episode.
One hour, yeah. Plus all the shorts when we do shorts.
And shorts. Yeah, of course, those, and then the no hype.
So we're not going to kill the conversation, but we've got 2 ambitious beers to do today. The first one is I've been on this one. This is right up there with 120 minute. I've been searching for it, and I finally found it. Lagunitas, the Waldos. I will crack yours. Hand it to you. Yeah, cool. I could have grabbed both.
I could have got Richard. He's over there.
Yeah. And then I'll just throw again, more about the conversation. So this is a triple IPA. I think I alluded to it on last week's episode. Triple IPA. A special ale. So those in the community, those in the craft beer community are very aware of the Waldos. Again, Lagunitas special ale. It's their dankest beer as advertised on their website, and it's a triple IPA, 11.7%. It's their. They say it's their dankest.
I disagree.
Okay. Well, and that's my groundlings training. Okay.
Maybe there's a temperature that you're supposed to service at. I don't know. We talked about that last week.
No.
This beer, as cold as it is not dank. This is not a dank beer. And Lagunitas does. I mean, it's not dank. I could taste it on the breath now. So I'm sure we'll describe it in great detail as we go along. But
so the one thing I want
I
to
like that was the start. That's how they introduced this beer.
One of the most monumental things about Lagunitas, and they have 2 different locations: Petaluma, California, and Chicago, Illinois.
Boom.
It's so I'm getting this right from their website. You can find out more at Lagunitas.com. It's weird because to find out where their beers are, you have to scroll down a little bit. They have their seasonal or all year round available beers, and then you have to scroll down a little bit more. So it says the dankest and hoppiest beer ever brewed by Lagunitas. They do have one action thing on here that I'm going to get JT's reaction after I
can't wait to react.
This is the one made in honor of the origins of 420, a triple IPA with the help of the Waldos themselves. In 1971, the Waldos met one afternoon at 420 in the front courtyard of their school near the statue of Louis Pasteur. They set out in a 66 Impala armed with a treasure map on a journey for a secret garden near Point Reyes. They met there at the same time every day and continued their quest. They never found the secret garden, but they kept looking. So we kept brewing every year in time for 420 for all the treasure hunters everywhere. So again, I'm going to show JT's reaction. This is the one cool thing about their website. Look at that.
Oh, I like that.
Isn't that neat? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come and show. It's going to be screen and screen because we're highly technical here. Best thing about this website. Look at this.
That's picture in picture right there.
Look at picture in picture. Look at that. It tilts the beer. Oh, you can check 6.5 minutes in. Look at that. Tilts the beer.
That is amazing.
That's fantastic.
What that is just great programming. That's all that is.
In the conversation when we're going to do the rolling start, I was like, this website sucks. This website went from sucks to pretty awesome with that little bit of an action, just that little bit of ingenuity, pouring the beer a little bit, being suggestive. Made me thirsty just looking at it.
Yeah.
JT was like, we can talk for another 55 minutes before we hit the record button. I was like, no, I'm thirsty now.
We gotta talk about this.
Because again, big beers. We didn't have a starter beer today. We try not to do that very often.
Yeah.
But so I present to you Lagunitas Waldos. And again, this is a highly sought after beer. I believe, and this is the it even says on the bottom, highly limited release.
Highly limited.
I bequeathed one of these to a neighbor friend, and the other 3 will go into the darkest, deepest depths of the cellar.
Oh, the cellar. So you would cellar this beer?
I'm going to try.
All right.
Should I not?
I don't think you're supposed to cellar IPAs like this. Triple IPA here. I think it's as aged as it's going to be.
Well, I just want to enjoy it, so just leave
that.
Maybe just leave it in.
Save it, yeah.
Maybe just leave it in the fridge.
So like I had,
because like 120 or 120 minutes.
Yeah, 120. I know that's what stopped me in my tracks mid sentence where I was about to say something very definitively, and then I kind of backed off.
We're pretty much experts
of the IPA part. But I can't remember who I think I was talking to Phil. Who was I talking to about this? I don't remember. But we were talking about which beers you can age, and IPAs came up, and it was like, don't do it. But so Katie had gotten a bunch of Pliny's, and some of which I'd shared, but I kept one, and I want to keep it until like there's a day where I'm just going to be like, it's time to drink that Pliny's.
You are
I'm
right.
starting to think that I shouldn't do that.
This says do not age. Granted, I'm looking at something from 2017, but it says do not age.
Do not age. That's a good tip for every human. Even don't age. It's best if you just stay the age you are now or younger.
Because JT's willing to make the sacrifice. He will have this one and the other 3 that are left before we stop recording today. Is that right?
I think you should age them.
We should try and experiment.
Let's do it. Let's do some aging.
Let's do some aging. Yep, 6 months in proper storage max.
Oh man, I gotta drink that Pliny's. Definitely older than 6 months. It's like a year old at this point, maybe longer.
Yeah, other people are like, I love 120 minute. I'm hoping to age this one 5 or 6 years. People are like, don't do that.
Oh man, I'm aging some 120 minutes as well.
But yeah, 120 minute, definitely age.
Age it.
Yep, all of my 120 minutes are sitting there just aging. That's most of my cellar.
So Chuggalo Jeff, who thanks for doing the episode, he
Connecticut Jeff.
So
love that guy.
I shit on his Fruit Force IPA sales.
It made for great content.
I really afterwards he texted me and was like, "Hey man, like you know, I was telling you about this beer. I wasn't expecting it to be amazing or anything, but like he can't shit on the beer, but it's our job to be
impartial,
to be true, impartial, true to the beer's flavor. And so he didn't mind that I didn't like it, but he is in Asheville right now.
Oh, geez, burial and all the good stuff.
So I told him, he went to the Funkatorium, and they went to Sierra Nevada, and the other big one down there. Who's the other big one? I forget.
You traveled down there.
I know, but I was like, hey, go to Barrel. Like, you have to go to Barrel. And I don't even think it was on his list. And he's like,
Wicked Weed?
Well, yeah, that's the Funkatorium.
That's the Funkatorium.
Yeah. He was like,
Highwire.
We should go, you and me.
Is it Highwire?
We should go to Asheville. Probably.
We should just record the whole time we're there.
The whole car ride and everything.
We'll just YouTube, because we'll drink the whole way.
We'll drive.
Yeah. We'll just take turns.
Here's the thing. I don't know how many ways there are to get to Asheville, but if you go through
the mountains,
Tennessee, what is that place we went to? Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
If you go through Gatlinburg, then whatever highway takes you into Asheville, it does go over the mountains, and at the very tip top of the mountain, there is a pizza restaurant, and it is connected to a gas station, and I'm not sure what the origins of this and how much pizza they actually sell, because it seemed like when you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and they come across like that gas station at the beginning, and you're like, no one's been to this gas station
pig ears and
weeks.
Snouts.
No, there wasn't weird stuff there, but just like it seemed like desolate, and it's like the outside siding was all wood. It was a nice. It wasn't nice. It was what you'd expect at the top of a mountain.
Was it nice?
In rural Texas. It was nice. It was very nice. And so long story short, I recommend that everyone who goes to Asheville through Gatlinburg stops at that pizza place, because the pizza was really good. And I doubt you could get it delivered anywhere other than on the mountain.
You don't think they do like a Gold Belly or what's that like? Because you can get, it's a bad example because there's a Giordano's here, but you can get Giordano's pizza like
not like that.
They ship to, you know.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna ship the
Gold. I think it's Gold Belly.
This is the type of place where you're, none of the table, all of the tables require repair. I'll start there. They all wobble.
It's well loved.
It's a well loved place, and I don't think they find much need to get new furniture.
It's like Pamela Anderson.
The pizza's good enough to where you could have shitty furniture.
It's really good, but it's past its prime.
The pizza's good.
Yeah.
But the tables are past their prime.
Like Pamela Anderson.
Yeah, right. Pamela Anderson, she's probably great, but I'm not sure.
She's a wonderful
I'm not sure
lady.
where I can take this analogy, but her tables are past their prime.
You did a good job. Sometimes
anyway,
I really set you up for a really shit situation.
Yeah. That's all right. So Connecticut Jeff was like, I can't believe that you would suggest burial. And I was like, well, wow, why? Well, because they don't serve sours. And then I understood. And I was like, but one, metal. And he was like, before I could even get the next text off, he was like, touche. That's a reason to go there. And then two, I said the stouts are amazing. Like even if you don't like stouts, even Bobby, my brother-in-law, loved the stouts there, and they have great names. So I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, if you go to Asheville, that's that when you make your list, that's got to be number one every time. Even if you've already been to Burial, go back and go again. I think it should be held in regard with the places where everyone's like, oh, Sierra Nevada's there. Oh, Wicked Weed's got the Funkatorium. It should be Burial, then all the other stuff. For now, until somebody else comes along and totally overtakes them.
Yeah.
As the king. I will say that the clientele do not represent the metal theme, though.
Yeah, it was like Three Floyds for the longest time. You know, you'd stop by Three Floyds and it's like definitely not metalheads in there.
It's like, it's a bunch of like Patagonia wearing,
people with money.
Yeah, people with money.
And that's not to say that metal fans don't have.
Oh no, they do now for sure.
I will say in the last month I've gotten my music taste I'm going through a big metal phase right now with the new Devil Driver and everything that just came out. So for those of you that haven't been in music for like 20 years, like me, Devil Driver was the fallout of Cold Chamber, which was like a big new metal band. But
okay.
We're talking about metal breweries.
Metal breweries. Yeah.
Dark Lord Day was just this last Saturday.
Oh, I forgot all about it. Yeah.
Because they moved it from the last Saturday in April. They moved it to May. I don't know if it was a weather-related situation.
No, they did that early though, didn't they?
People they did in January, December when they announced it. But people were like driving, like taking pictures of their trunk full of bottles of Dark Lord with like license plate. The furthest one I saw was New York. The guy's license plate he put on Facebook in Beer Geek. So his license plate was Ass Man.
Ass Man.
Who at the New York license plate factory goes Ass Man?
What I really
that's going to get approved.
What I really
with Statue of Liberty
is watching the prisoners who made that license plate. If they still do that, do they still do that?
Yeah.
They probably had a great time with that. Was it Ass Man with S's or like dollar signs?
I didn't look that close, but I swear it was just legit Ass Man.
That's awesome.
I don't think it was A5.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like
A5 man.
Yeah. Damn. I don't think. Yeah, you can't do that in Ohio. That's outlawed.
Yeah, you're powering through this.
Oh yeah, I got half down already.
Holy shit! We've been here for like 20 minutes. And I was like, I don't know if we should do a starter beer. He's like, we still have to be adults or whatever. He's like, there's big beers or whatever. I was like, we'll crack right away. And then we ended up talking. So I dried you out.
Right. This is great. Okay. I'll start with let's do the can opener because that, it's
there's
important.
so much available.
It's so important. Here's the can
Again,
art.
it's trademarked.
It is trademarked. There's the can art. Even here, let's do the cap. It's got a dog on it.
They're all about dogs. If you go to their website, again, Lagunitas.com, you'll find out that they're all about dogs. They do dog water. Like expensive dog water for people that have too much money.
Expensive dog water?
Yeah.
There's Yeti dog bowls if you've seen those. They're like $40 for a bowl. No, I'm gonna break the news to all of you Yeti lovers, which I do like Yeti. I have a number of Yeti things. The dog bowls don't do anything.
What?
They don't keep anything cold or warm or anything. They're just bowls.
For those family members that have to have everything Yeti.
Yeah.
Is it
They're
double?
Out there.
Is it double
Actually,
walled?
I find there are Yeti freaks, but the competitor is the Hydro Flask. Those people are crazy. Yeti people are like interesting in that they're wasting a lot of money, but the Hydro Flask people, they're nuts.
I forget the ones that our squadron has that. Because it's Yeti, but ours are like it's not Igloo. Don't say Igloo.
Oh, like Coleman or
no.
Stanley.
No.
Stanley all of a sudden
they're the A tier, but
they're up there. Well, Stanley's like the new Hydro Flask. I didn't know that the Hammer Company was making
Arctic.
Oh,
Arctic.
Never heard of them.
Massive. These are plain coolers, so they're massive.
Oh, okay.
Hundreds of dollars, but they could take a bullet.
Wow,
they're so thick.
Damn,
I would.
That's too thick.
Sit behind one.
I first learned about the Yeti cooler from the Iowa guy, the Busch Light guy. Well, I thought we were the Busch Light people, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
he does a lot of things with the Wisconsin guy.
Yep, he does. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He had made a cooler. I know it was a joke that. He had made a cooler out of insulation.
Yeah.
And then he would keep showing it day after day after day of it still having ice. And I know that he was filling up with ice, or he probably shot it all in one day and just pretended like several days had passed. But that's really what's in those coolers. It's like R30 insulation.
We did, in 4th grade, we had a competition as students, was to make a container that held an ice cube intact the longest. And there was 6 of us. My dad pretty much did the project, but like it was foam insulation, then rolled insulation, and sawdust. Sawdust is a great insulator and all of that. And it had a swing top. There was kids I felt bad for that just showed up with a piece of Tupperware. Like that was done in an hour. There was a few of us that had to take our ice cubes home. Katie Johnson ended up winning. She's not she's not a fan of the show. I was like I said, I was one of the ones that took it home, but I remember Katie winning because then you're on your scout, whatever scout you are, boy, girl, right? 2, 3.
Girl. Scout's honor.
Yeah,
whatever it is, 2, 3. I think it's like 3. I don't know. Do they still do that?
Girl Scouts are 3, Boy Scouts are 2. Correct us in the comments down below. And but I remember she won.
What did she have? Do you remember?
I couldn't tell you. I remember kids showing up with like a Ziploc baggie. Mm-hmm. That's not going to keep it.
So you took your ice home?
Yeah, it made it all the way through the day.
No way.
We had to check. Oh yeah, we had to check like once an hour because you don't want to like.
You took it home in the container you made.
And you had to watch to see when there's nothing left.
At the end of the day, it was like handing kids ice cubes, and you had to take it home to build the container.
I still, you know what? I still have that ice cube to this day. It means
I bet you do. I bet your
lot.
teacher would believe you too, probably.
Miss O'Lean, she got married, so you can. I'm giving all this,
Oh, so she's had sex, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
she got married.
No, she got married afterwards.
After she had sex?
Yeah, then her name became Miss Aberg.
Miss Aberg?
Yeah. Can you name all of your people? People think I'm weird. Can you name all of your teachers all the way through? Like, when I know it gets difficult, so like then you.
Well, like once you start switching classes and stuff, it's hard.
But I can do it all the way through.
No, I know I had like Miss Mook in 4th grade.
Miss Mook, that's made up.
She also got married.
She probably has Turkey Hill Brewery
that was her
too.
maiden name.
Miss Mook.
I don't remember.
My 1st grade teacher got married, so I remember both her names. She was Miss. Well, I moved in 1st grade too, so it was Miss Nicastro. Then we moved. It was Miss Siddick, and then she got married that spring, and then she became Miss Hanson.
Wow, Miss Hanson.
The things I remember.
Was she married to a Hanson brother?
No, she was far older.
Well, it doesn't mean she can't marry.
Because love knows.
They're our age, probably, right?
Yeah, the Hansons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good questions. Though.
I remember Mr. and Mrs. Mole. They both taught.
Mook and Mole.
Our school only hired teachers with M.
Yeah. Yeah. So then it went Miss Harper, 2nd grade. Miss Skornica, 3rd grade. Miss Bachmeyer was the team teacher because I can name all the teachers in the school. Because then it was Miss O'Lean and then Mr. Meyer. Mm-hmm. And then 5th grade was my teacher, Mr. Van Houten, who is my favorite teacher of all time. And we're Facebook friends, so it's cool. Ooh. And then Miss Stearns was the other 5th grade teacher. Nice. The school librarian was Miss Talisic. The school principal was Mr. Scamper.
My sister remembers all this stuff. She has records of elementary school. She's friends with everybody from her elementary school on Facebook and like teachers and stuff. I don't remember any of that stuff. Hooksema, I think, was my kindergarten teacher.
Again, maybe we can do a correlation. How much you remember about elementary school to how successful you are in life. Like JT's way more successful than I am in life. Knows nothing. Did you even go to elementary school?
I might not have.
He might not. So again, you want your children to be successful? Don't send look at this pie.
That's true.
Super successful. I mean,
I think we're both doing.
I went to elementary school. He can't even remember that I went to elementary school.
I mean, but you and my sister and me, we're all doing fine, and you have
we're
different levels of memory from elementary school. This needs to be studied.
Homeless people, I bet, were in elementary school for 14 years.
Yeah, they probably remember every teacher, including the ones they had twice or just once.
And substitute teachers.
And the subs. Oh man, subs.
And all of their birth signs.
Sub? Do you remember a single substitute teacher?
Yeah. Oh God. Ooh. Well, Miss Jacobson. But there's one where
Jacobson, not Jacobson.
No, you had to raise your hand. And in elementary school, like if the teacher didn't see you, you would go follow the teacher, and she'd go ooh ooh ooh, and she would. That's probably gonna sound bad on audio, but she would run away from you.
Oh,
and she did that to elementary school kids.
Why would you follow her?
Because it was an old lady. We had in high school. We had twin substitute teachers. They were twin dudes.
Oh wow!
And they were identical.
Wow!
And you had to figure out which one it was.
You didn't know which one was your teacher.
Nope.
Wow!
And they were
both subs.
Yep. Because retired teachers become subs for like 5 years just to keep it going, keep their teaching license.
It's really unfortunate that I don't remember some of the better teachers I had. Like there was the one physics teacher I had who was teaching about distribution of mass and force and stuff, but by laying on a bed of nails and having a student, which is ballsy as fuck, having a student break the cinder block on his chest with a sledgehammer, and I'm like, damn.
It's physics.
And he did it every year.
That's just trusting.
I think he knew.
It's like sitting on a bed of nails.
That the gap between like malicious assault and like I'm in a physics class and I'm gonna hit a sledgehammer on a cinder block. Like I think he knew the gap was wide enough to where even the worst students aren't going to do it on purpose. Like, they're not going to hit him.
Yeah.
And to his credit, he never got hit with a sledgehammer. Just the cinder block. And I don't remember his name, and that's unfortunate.
Is this the teacher that I just read a news report about is now eating food for the rest of his life through a straw?
No. This teacher passed away of cancer, I believe, maybe 10 or 20 years ago. A long time ago. Not 20, because this is my 20th year since high school. So he did not die while I was in high school.
20 years without high school.
And then I had my environmental science teacher in senior year.
Yeah.
He was awesome. Total awesome. He used to do this thing called the date, where every day he'd be like, all right, students, the date. And then he would just read like fun facts that happened during that date.
He was like Paul Harvey.
Yeah, like Paul Harvey.
Oh, I miss Paul Harvey.
I don't know who Paul Harvey is.
What? There's the generation.
I know who Steve Harvey is.
Yeah.
He doesn't do similar
Paul
things.
Harvey was like,
Steve
and now
Harvey.
for the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah, something like that. Yeah. It was fun, but I don't remember these people's names, unfortunately.
Man, the things you talk about, again, why we started this, we just would show up at a bar that doesn't exist anymore, which is hilarious.
Right.
And we're like, we should just record this. Millions of people will be entertained.
We've outlived the bar we used to go to.
Yeah.
Do you remember your favorite high school class, regardless of teacher?
Yeah, geography. 100%.
Oh, perfect.
I passed.
We didn't even have geography in my high school.
I had to petition the school board. I remember because I was that nerd. The best part is the teacher came up with a plan. If you could name 180 countries on an unmarked map, you'd pass the class. So I showed
without
up
having to do any other work.
without having to do any of the work.
Damn.
And I did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you could just coast the whole class.
Yeah, and she's like, well, you could take a study hall, and I was one of those kids that never took a study hall.
180 countries.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
So again, the stupid stuff you commit to memory. So I just sat in class, and I still did all the work and stuff like that. But yeah.
Wow, that's really, really great. I
It's
couldn't
awesome.
do that.
Because there's like 211 or 212 at the time that were recognized.
There's more now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like South Sudan is a new country.
Yeah, South Sudan. Puntland.
Puntland, yeah. Somalia is 3 different countries.
Puntland is where Pat
technically
McAfee
not.
lives.
Yeah. God, I can't believe ESPN gave him $120 million. They can't pay their anchors. You turn on the channel now and you don't know anyone who's on there. So now you're listening to Bob Gilstrand talk about long snapping.
Who sincerely watches ESPN?
I miss it. I would have that.
Yeah,
that's
the
background
old school
music.
one.
Yeah.
The old school ESPN. But like, no, who gives a shit now? You get all your news online.
My father-in-law will have ESPN, and I just like it because it's always on, and we turn it to other channels.
You know what it was? I think it was what killed ESPN was when they lost the hockey license, and you realized for the first time that ESPN didn't give a shit about any of these sports. They were only telling you about the sports that they covered.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that changed everything for ESPN. I was like, fuck this channel, fuck SportsCenter. If they're not going to give us all the sports, then they're not SportsCenter. They're ESPN SportsCenter. They're whatever licenses they have. And then now they got hockey back, and you can't get rid of fucking hockey. It's on all day. Anyway,
there's a lot. I'm curious because this beer has grown on me.
Yeah, so I didn't want to finish it because I want to be able to sip it as I approach my.
I'm so
review.
close to finishing it.
So the can art, as I showed many minutes ago, has a dog, the same dog that I showed on the bottle cap. The dog has a little caption that says, "For all the treasure hunters." Okay, and there is red dotted lines and an X. X marks the spot, just like the treasure for these Waldos who searched. So I'm not familiar with the Waldos. I'm assuming they were avid fans of marijuana. Based on the time that they met every day. And every day, I mean, geez Louise. I wonder how many teachers from elementary school they remember. So they're the Waldos treasure hunting, special ale. And treasure hunting, I'm guessing, is just a, I'm not sure what you call it, a simile or some sort of alternative phrase, turn a phrase maybe for smoking the reefer.
Smoking the reefer.
We were treasure hunting.
I can't pull over
every
any
day
farther.
at 4:20. We would treasure hunt. Yeah, I'm sure you would. but it is a limited release, and that's about the extent of the can art, bottle art. So onto the flavor. I don't know if this is the dankest beer that Lagunitas has produced, but if it is, then wow, that's not saying a lot about dankness for Lagunitas. If it is not, well, I think it's it's subjective. So somebody thinks it is. I'm not sure that I can name another one that's more dank. But I don't think it's dank in the way that most dank IPAs, like the 420 strain from Sweetwater, would hit you.
Sweetwater!
It hits you in the liquid, whereas the dankness on this beer hits you in the breath. The actual taste of this beer is very sweet. And I said it. I think I said it last week or 2 weeks ago. When you get these double, triple IPAs and it's like over malted for extra fermentation, which I learned from Phil. So I sound really smart now, but I just learned this like 6 months ago. What happens is that I think a lot of sugar gets left in the tank at the end.
Yeah.
And it sweetens up a lot of these beers. So this beer has the same properties, same attributes. It's sweet. It's sweet in an unexpected way because when they say it's the dankest and you see it's a triple IPA, you're thinking one of two things: super dank or super alcohol, super boozy. And I don't think it's either of those things. I think it's a sweet, smooth beer on the tongue. In the breath is when you get that dankness. It's kind of actually like a sandpapery dankness. I don't know how to describe the taste of that, but it's like it's almost like the feeling of booziness where you kind of go like, oh, that's too boozy. That's the dank. You're almost like, oh man, this is like gravel dank. Sandpaper, I don't know, it's just rough. It's rough, that's it. It's rough, but it's only on the breath. So I couldn't proclaim that this is the dankest Lagunitas beer because I don't think it's dank on the flavor. I think it's only dank on the breath. Still very good. I really think this beer is great. I had half of it down in like no time at all. A highly limited release. I could see this being sought after if it was marketed more. I'm not sure if the 420 thing is really, I don't know where that fits into any of this because it doesn't have that like weed tinge to it. It's just I guess a funny story.
Like the other hemp beers.
Like you could just name this beer Treasure Hunter.
Yeah.
And it would probably do just as well, if not better, than naming it the Waldos. I think this is a great triple IPA. It's not boozy. Even now that I've been holding it in my hand for a while. I guess it can have that dankness now that it's warm. Wow, this cold was just phenomenal.
Right?
Now that it's warm, it's not as good.
Nope.
Not as good. I like this beer. I think this beer is great. 4 or 5.
This is it's interesting because like it's not the hoppy. It's not going to hit you like with the massive hop profile that Big Buck or any of these like advertised hoppy beers or whatever. So it might be a hoppiest that's in their profile, but it's not overpowering with like alkalinity or like a drying factor or whatever. The interesting thing is actually quite thin on the palate, and some of that might
That's
be
a good way to describe it.
Some of that might be that 11.7 alcohol content on it. So like Stev will comment, like, oh, I can tell that you guys had big beers today. Because, chatter.
Well, we chatted before we even had the beer.
The hallmark of this beer, though, is the fact that it is a 1 year, the highly limited release. They may be artificial inability to get it easily or year round or whatever. But really, it's a one note to it. There's not like a lot of complex balancing or anything like that. It's one note and it delivers it quite well. Again, ice cold, super cold, this beer is way better than it is warmer.
Serve
and
cold.
I even coozed it. Yes, served this one cold off the top rope. A 4.0, I'm excited to have the other ones, but I know that I just need to drink them faster, which may exacerbate more of this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Always makes for better content.
Makes for better content, but we've already had it on mic, so you'll have to do that on your separate podcast Twitch channel.
Podcasts.
What's the name of that? That's Matt Chat.
Matt Chat. Ooh, I should. So this is going to take me a while, so I need to start working on this. This is a bottle that I bought specifically for the pod a few months ago, and it comes wax sealed, so that's how you know it's really good.
So while you do that, I got a new segment for the show. It's called Bolo, JT's Bolo. Be on the lookout. I'm gonna hopefully do this, maybe not every episode, but regularly. I want everyone to be on the lookout, and I want you to notify the podcast when you see this new beer category called Fresh Ale. This is, I don't know, how many new beer categories have been invented since we started doing this podcast? None, probably.
Well, we've been doing this such a long time.
Yeah.
It's probably, we're not aware of them, though.
We're not aware of them. Maybe, something really niche, but this one's going to proliferate. A new beer category named Fresh Ale, and this is from the Drinks Business, I guess, magazine or website. Fresh Ale. It's been created by Otter Brewery, and it bridges the gap between craft beer, cask ale, and lager. Fresh ales are beers that are initially brewed as cask ales, but instead of being filled into casks, are gently carbonated before being put into kegs.
Interesting.
So if you guys see this, we want to try it. At least I do, and I will pay for it. Bring it on the show, and we'll drink it live, as live as we can be, because this is pre-recorded.
What's that?
You getting it?
Oh yeah.
But I can keep going here.
No. So this is why you do it this way.
Otter Brewery insisted that even though U.S. hops play a large role in the delivery of craft beers, all too often craft beers are over-hopped to the point where the beer becomes a challenge to drink. We're talking like triple hopped IPAs.
Do you have people, you're saying with the Bolo, and I like this, do you have people in your sphere that have unimpeded access to your wallet? So like Chuggalo sister, Chuggalo mom, or whatever, like if you see, because with 2 levies, obviously they would buy that for you. But is there, like for me, I have people that are willing to buy me 120 minute.
Yeah. I have, my mom would, and my sister would. Unfortunately, the majority of the beers they've purchased, they wouldn't let me pay for. Now, if it was like Utopias or something, obviously they would let me pay for that. But yeah, I pretty much say, like, if you find X, Y, and Z, like Chuggalo Nicole knows, if she finds
she knows
illuminated 2 levies or 3 levies or any number of levies, buy it. If it's more expensive than you're hoping to pay, she knows I'll pay her. And if she doesn't know that, then she's wrong, because I will.
This black or dark beauty I just poured is Hubbard's Cave Barrel Aged El Zacaton. It is bottled in 2002. It's a 13% barrel aged imperial stout.
2002.
Oh, sorry. 2022. Thank you for.
I was like, holy shit! I can't believe you're sharing this beer with me. Like, that sounds.
Barrel aged imperial stout fermented on toasted oak with almond flour, chocolate, cinnamon, vanilla beans, ancho chilies, guajillo chilies, and habanero chilies. I didn't realize all of that was in there until I read it now, because I'm attracted to Hubbard's Cave stuff.
Hubbard's
and it came in a bomber.
Yeah, they know what's
and
up.
I just saw the name.
What's your opinion on almond flour?
I've had it in things, like take it or leave it.
I really like almond extract, and I think it amps up drinks. But almond flour has been largely a disappointment in the flavor category. I think it's good in the net nutrition value.
Yeah,
I think it's better for you.
I didn't realize till just now that this was a bountiful supply of. Because you gave me a pepper beer, and again, I don't read it before I crack it, and again, I just went with the name and the fact that it was a bomber and it was barrel aged.
Well, Hubbard's Cave is different though.
Oh my
If
goodness!
you give me a pepper beer from Hubbard's Cave, I'll be more welcoming to it than, say, Mad Elf. It's okay. I mean, sometimes dogs bark, and that happens. Especially if you have a podcast and a dog in your dossier. But anyway, Hubbard's Cave, I believe, I don't know where the bottle went, but I think they are out of Chicago. And I'll be corrected, but apparently their website's garbage. But we'll learn about that from the website review. But Hubbard's Cave is, there's a prominent little shelf at Barrel House in Dayton. So if you're Dayton local, they do have Hubbard's Cave at Barrel House. And I think Pat has some Hubbard's Cave.
Pat has Hubbard's Cave. I bought this stuff up in Minneapolis because I was buying way more stuff than I should have up there, and I got really big. But you can find out more, GT, with the amazing website review segue. So not hubbardscave.com, this is the frustrating thing I've discovered with these this brewer and this website. This is the first time we've had them on the podcast. Is their website is unanee.com. I'll spell that Uneanee. So Unanee was an independent craft brewer born in 2013 on the near west side of Chicago. On Hubbard Street.
West side of Chicago.
On Hubbard Street.
Hubbard is in Chicago, but you could also be in the suburbs.
Yep. With the quest of making fine Belgian-inspired ales for all beer lovers. Where Hubbard's Cave comes in is in 2015, Hubbard's Cave was developed as an alternative to the Belgian-style ales made by Unanee, producing American-style ales.
Unanee?
Unanee? Uneannee. Primarily imperial stouts and Hubbard's Cave's signature fresh IPAs. Hubbard's Cave is a refreshing addition to the Unanee family, named after Chicago Hubbard Street traffic tunnel on Interstate 90-94, next to where the brewery was born. Hubbard's Cave has quickly grown to produce some of the most popular offerings.
You know, one thing that will set off somebody from Chicago with
obstructed and unbridled passion.
Not unobstructed, but unreasonable.
Unanee
and unreasonable fury is if you say you're from Chicago and you're from the suburbs, which to me always just, like, if you're in Chicago.
I'm from Schaumburg. I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, I understand. But, like, why
I'm from Naperville.
So it's like people in New York, like, if you're not from Manhattan Island, that's an easy differentiator because it's an island. But still, they get really bent out of shape if you're like, oh, I'm from New York, and you're not.
I'm from inside the loop.
Yeah, so if you're from the loop, I mean, that's even more downtown. You could be from Chicago and still be north and south side, outside the loop. The loop is like basically, I think it's everything inside. I don't know if the loop is talking about the L, because the L kind of goes in a weird loop, or if it's talking about the highway system, the Lakeshore Drive, and then the 290 and 94, whatever it is.
How you can tell I'm from Chicago is I like to go to Ditka's downtown.
I've lost that part of my...
Not out in the suburbs, eh?
I've lost that part of my speech. But one time I was at our...
Can you do a Chicago accent?
Our former joint place of work. Yeah, of course. And I said, I'm from Chicago. And there was this woman who worked at the same place. Who you probably know, but I won't. Obviously, I don't dox. She was like, you're not from... She was so mad.
Yeah.
Mad as fuck. I was like, damn. Like, I'm just from right outside. You could literally see the Sears Tower from my house.
It was the Pia. What's her name?
It wasn't the Pia.
Susan. Susan.
Oh, I remember her. Holy shit. That's a callback. That's 8 years ago.
I want to hear the Chicago accent.
Yeah, I'll bust it out.
Was mine all right?
You're doing okay. I think that you have the Saturday Night Live version of the Chicago accent.
That's probably where I get my Chicago accent from.
Yeah. No, you get it because you're in Wisconsin and you hear enough.
I hear.
You hear enough.
That's for sure.
What you guys call fibs.
Yeah.
Which I've taught my kids. I was like, listen for that. If you hear that, just...
And it's not all...
Relentlessly make fun of the person who said it.
It's not people from, like, Champaign. It's pretty much Rockford and then East.
Oh, you can't include Rockford in that. Rockford's too far out. You gotta go. I think Naperville's probably as far as you can go and still be like in the Chicagoland area. But I'm not gonna get mad about it. If you're from Rockford and you want to be from Chicago, fine.
I will get mad if I don't hear the Chicago.
Like Randy Orton and I talked about this. You know, he's from across the border, not even in the same state, and they claim Chicago.
They do. They are. It's unbridled.
Well, Rachel Ray, if you want to go all the way back to our butt chug days, Rachel Ray claimed Chicago, and he's also from that part of Indiana.
Yeah.
So you could
the armpit of Indiana.
There was an argument to be made, of which in some ways I agree with. If Chicago were to be its own state, it would make more sense politically because of the way that they vote. And then the southern Indiana and Illinois being all farms. It makes sense for them to be a state. But that's not the way it is. And it's not the way it ever will be. So just get used to Chicago deciding every election. That's all I have to say.
The interesting thing, going back to Unani and again, their website is going to score.
Yeah, back to the topic.
You never get their beers. You have to go to beermenus.com to get all of it, which is crazy. So like a tale of two websites on this. Mm-hmm. But again, so you get a no fears at beermenus.com for Hubbard's Cave. Everything is decadent, vanilla and venereal. Vanilla, you don't want that beer.
You don't want decadent venereal.
Vanilla Imperial Stout, their fresh IPA, coffee and cakes, maple Imperial Stout, chocolate and raspberry pot de creme, IPA 3, chocolate and cinnamon pot de creme,
wow,
Coco Van, coffee Imperial Stout, peanut butter cup Imperial Stout.
They make sours.
The El Zacaton, pancake walk, salted caramel Imperial Stout. Everything decadent, and then fresh. And then I didn't know they did fresh IPAs, and that's apparently what they're known for.
I didn't know that.
Maybe they just don't
make
travel.
A whole bunch of stouts. You just read all the dessert beers.
Bananas Foster, the milk of the Murder Hornet Raspberry. Like these are like
milk of the Murder Hornet.
Yeah.
Raspberry.
Is
this a raspberry that's been pollinated by a murder hornet? Do murder hornets pollinate?
No, hornets don't pollinate.
What do hornets do?
They're assholes. Nature's asshole.
Nice. Well, this beer.
Wow.
This beer
I have thoughts.
has a feeling. More than a flavor. I don't know if it's the previous beer, the Lagunitas Dank.
Would you say it's more than a feeling?
I would say that I would say the feeling's more than the taste.
Feeling.
Yeah. I knew where you were going with that. I couldn't tie it together.
Can beer related, unless I'm going to derail you. Did you buy a beer at the Blink-182 concert? How much was it? No? Okay. I was going to ask what drink prices were there.
I was going to, but I didn't. I will. So we went to Blink, and then we got Dance Gavin Dance tickets for August. I'll buy beer there.
Are they a big band?
That's a festival. They're not as big as Blink-182. Blink-182, in my opinion, is probably as famous as the most famous pop groups. Like they've been around long enough. They're in everybody's. Like if you've heard. If you've been to a sporting event or anything, like What's My Age Again or All the Small Things, something like that.
Are they in the Green Day tier?
Well, that's a bad question for me because
I'm not saying important.
I've always thought that Blink-182 was a better band and more influential and more popular than Green Day. Now, American Idiot, obviously, you can talk about influence, but Blink-182. They were a lot like me. They were a lot of people's introduction into punk music.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't young enough to be like a Ramones fan. So right when they came along, it was like, well, I listened to whatever my parents listened to, and then Blink-182, and it was like, now I'm an individual.
I mean, I think
a lot of people had that same experience. Whereas Green Day was like, okay, maybe if you were a teenager during Dookie, their first album, sure. But after that, I mean.
Interesting, big three-piece.
They were
punky
just
bands.
That place was sold out. I've never been to a concert like that where there wasn't a single seat empty.
Yeah,
like you always see seats empty. Just even onesie twosies. This place was jam packed, standing room only. obviously they play a role in people's lives.
Hopefully it's just not a cash grab. I mean, there's
it's not a cash grab.
Yeah, that they're gonna stick around for a little bit.
Even if they break up after this, because touring is what broke them up.
Yeah.
I think they genuinely wanted to be together again. You have to the circumstances were there. Cancer. Mark Hoppus had cancer, and I don't know if Travis. He was in that plane crash, but that was a long time ago. And I think they just were like, "Holy shit!"
Is he still with one of the Kardashians?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, still.
You were in the same building as a Kardashian.
I'm not sure if she was there, but I would like to think.
Yeah, she was
probably there.
It was her ass. I don't know which one it is, and then
I don't. Courtney, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever one isn't Kim, and the one who had so much plastic surgery, she's a different person.
Not that.
It's the other one.
Yeah.
The third one. Courtney, I think.
Courtney, yeah. Chloe's the one that.
And I first I hated it, and people have asked me how, because Travis is really I like Blink-182, but I like Travis Barker. That's really where my head's at. And they've been like, oh, what do you think about that? I don't know why they ask me, but they do. And I think it's once you're as famous as Travis Barker, think about, if I could say Travis Barker, everyone knows who he is. Everyone.
Yeah, Bob Barker is
if you're that famous.
Yeah. Come on down.
How many people really can you date? There's probably 10 people, and most of them are married. Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift is not married, by the way.
Kim Kardashian, she's not married. Kim Kardashian, who's been married, but not anymore.
Yep.
So there's who's as famous as Travis Barker? There's not a lot of people who are as famous as Travis Barker, and the Kardashians are in that group, I think.
You're not helping us out because Stev already knows when we drink big beers, we say ridiculous things.
No, I'm not. I've put thought into this. This isn't me saying ridiculous things. I've thought about this because why would Travis Barker date a Kardashian? They just don't go together. But in the case of Travis Barker, I think he's just so famous that no one relates to the problems he has. Because if he's dating a regular girl, he's oh, I'm so upset that these cameras keep following me. Some girls are gonna be who cares? Get over it, you rich guy. But I think a Kardashian would understand. So maybe they just related. I'm not saying that it's justified. It still sucks that he's dating a Kardashian.
Okay, there we go. You just told me
I think that they relate.
Yeah.
Because of how famous they are together. If that makes sense. And she really turned crazy. Crazy in love, I guess. I don't know if she's crazy.
Yeah.
But they're into each other.
Well, that's good.
Big time.
It's good to have that.
A lot of tongue
your partner has
stuff,
Have somebody
in public and stuff.
Have somebody that wants to tongue kiss you in public.
That's an important. I don't know. I don't think that's a good thing.
I've never seen you kiss your wife, and I've been with you.
Oh, I've kissed my wife plenty.
Not in public.
Not tongue kiss in public.
And she's just not that into you.
Yeah, she doesn't like that. We would never tongue kiss in public. Now we're talking 13% beer. Yeah. Now we're in the 13%.
No, we just got there.
The Travis conversation was all well thought out.
That was the gateway.
Stuff.
Travis's tongue. I thought I had a good episode title before this.
If I could sit through the sessions, I would tat up like Travis. I've joked about getting neck tattoos, and my wife will not let it happen. But
there's no way you would.
I started my ribs and stuff. Well, these ribs are done. These ribs are half done. I don't think I have it in me to finish them.
Pain?
It's just too much, yeah.
Oh.
The pain of an hour or two.
Yeah.
But why would I go for an hour or two? It's gonna take 5-6 hours to finish. You got to be able to sit. And I just don't have it in me anymore. I used to when I was a young man. But I would go full tattoo shirt from waist to neck.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it. Age has caught up. But Travis, he's a big reason why. When I saw those tattoos, I was like, hell yeah. I wouldn't get a Cadillac tattoo, though. That's too much. That's going too far.
Rumor has
too much brand loyalty.
Rumor has it that he has something else you'd really like.
A Kardashian?
His third drumstick.
Oh, you got that tattoo?
No. Apparently it's impressive.
Oh, I'm sure. Or it's not. Who knows? Rumors are rumors, He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I didn't survive the plane crash like he did. Because his life is miserable.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He got trigeminal neuralgia from that.
Yeah.
Pretty horrible. Anyway, so this beer, the majority of what you get from this beer is not flavor, it's feeling. In the back of the throat, it's that spice, that pepper, which is surprising because at first when you drink it, have you ever drank Hershey's chocolate syrup straight?
Yeah.
That's what it feels like on the back of the throat when you drink something so sweet that it's unappealing and it hits your throat like a sting. That's what this beer does to you. But it's not chocolate syrup, it's the pepper. The pepper's doing that. I think
it amplifies the more and more you play with your palate.
It's a complex beer.
It's very complex.
We talked about like that beer that Phil bought for $65. That was complex. And I felt like maybe we went too far into the complexities of it and people lost interest. I don't know. Maybe
it's like a Cicerone exclusive beer.
Yeah.
Like, like a sommelier can only appreciate.
This beer has a lot of that, those same qualities. Now, can art wise, there it is. Hubbard's Cave does not do anything crazy. So that's about what you're going to get. Flavor wise, I think that, man, I just can't find the flavors here. And I'm glad that I only caught like 3 of the flavors you listed. The rest of the time I was thinking.
Yeah. Venereal.
It really does leave a sweetness on your lips, though. Every time I lick my lips up, it's like I'm...
That's got to be candy. Like the sugars.
Yeah, it's got to be on the rim, yeah. Rim of the glass. You got to specify which rim I'm talking about. For these listeners, you know?
For these
Wisconsinites who get crazy.
For the Patreon...
We
won't specify in the Patreon.
There was another well thought out idea I had. I saw your buddy Mike had posted a picture of himself, and I don't know like how much he wants like publicly available. He was at a tournament for a certain
Magic.
Magic. Okay.
Yeah, so that's publicly consumable. He top 8'd in a Pro Tour qualifier.
When that's cool. I like, hey, great. I hope you win the whole thing. But I was looking around the picture just out of curiosity, and it seemed to me that every man in that room looked exactly the same. Like a trimmed up, not 5 o'clock shadow like what I would consider myself to have, but a little bit longer. White man, and just like they all looked exactly the same, probably the same age. If you were wondering who was at this Blink-182 concert, other than maybe like the 100 teenagers that were there, they were all the exact same person. They were me and my wife, just spread out over 50,000 seats, or however many that Rocket Mortgage Arena has. So it was funny to see that. Just a lot of 38-year-old people. Anyway. I just don't know how to summarize this beer. If I had to give this beer, other than the sting on the throat, and the pepper doesn't really do anything to the palate, but other than the sting on the throat, I would say maple syrup is probably the most prominent flavor I taste. If that's in there, I have no idea because I didn't hear half the things you said. It is sweet on the lips, and that's again probably from the glass, and it is very punchy in the throat. It's but because there's no flavor to it, it's almost like cayenne pepper. It's just, here it is, there's no flavor, but you know it's there. I don't know, I'm gonna need a minute to give it a score.
That's fine. You're right there. I'm gonna be right there. So I'm disappointed I picked a pepper beer this last weekend. Again, if you follow me on Untapped Digital Bather, there's a couple of people that commented on it to me. I picked out an IPA because I was like, I've had enough sours. I'm gonna have an IPA, and all I said, IPA, sweet, cracked it. It came from the bequeathed chest of beers I got from JT. And I took a big old pull, and the last ingredient is pepper, and it was all habanero peppers. Mm-hmm. I love spicy food. I have a spicy food cabinet, or a spicy hot sauce cabinet. I love that stuff. There are times where I just don't want that. I just want like a zombie dust or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, when you're not prepared for it, and this, I wasn't prepared. When I bought it, I didn't realize that it came with all of the three peppers. So I think that may have affected my score. Off the top rope, I'm at a 4.25, which I know I kind of bait and switched everyone there. It's really good. It's just I didn't want the peppers, but that's a me personally thing. The beer is good. There's just a lot going on, and I would like to try this without the peppers. And I understand that may take the all the other ingredients, the vanilla bean and all that, in like a stout or whatever. It could be something that's super decadent. That these peppers, I think, just needlessly ground it in a way that I wish they weren't there, so I could have the product without them, because I think that this would be a mighty fine product without those peppers.
Yeah,
but again, it's a great score at 4.25 because it is a well-defined, and the peppers, for somebody that loves hot sauce and puts it on everything, the peppers aren't too much. It's just I would like it without them.
Yeah. I would agree with that. They're not too much, but they are there. They're noticeable. It's not like I would even say that habanero one that you're talking about was subtle enough to where you could be like, if you didn't know it was there, you'd be like, what the fuck? Is there something spicy in this beer? Whereas this one, you're like, yeah, there's definitely pepper in this beer. Now, I've had it warm and I've had it cold, and it is way better cold, but there's more flavors warm.
Yeah.
So that should really say all you need to say about this beer, is that if there's more flavor when it's warm, but it's better when it's cold, then the flavors aren't coming out in the way that are making this beer better tasting. So,
pretty good rule of thumb there.
Rule of thumb. The score is hard here because I don't really think I would ask for this beer ever again. But I can't fault it for being a beer that I don't particularly go after, because it's not a bad beer. I think the execution was done well. Well, maybe I don't. I'm going to give this beer a 3.0. Because I think that they give you something to enjoy, but I don't think that they give you what they say on, like, the vanilla and stuff. Now that I read it and I know it's in there, okay, sure, it's vanilla. But before that, I thought it was just maple syrup, maple syrup, maple syrup. That's all I could taste in this beer. So, when a sommelier drinks a beer...
Yeah. Cicerone,
I mean. Yeah. Do they know what they're drinking beforehand, or is it blind?
It depends.
Okay.
Like if they're doing their test or whatever, or, it's being advertised or whatever. But the true test is being able to taste the adjuncts without being prompted.
Without knowing.
Like they could do our blind taste
This
test.
would be pretty tough, I think.
Yeah, because the peppers blend together.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't get 3 different peppers out of this.
I mean, unless you're Bobby Flay. Bobby Flay is a big fan of the lower tier peppers, and I don't say that like not habaneros, serranos, but like guajillo, Anaheim, chipotle, like that. He likes cooking with those because they have an earthy balance to them, and they balance out
smart
foods.
Yeah,
it's not pure capsaicin.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I'm at a 3.0. I think that it's probably worth this bottle. Like putting it in a bomber. What is that? This is a bomber, right?
Yeah, it's a bomber.
And get rid of the spice, and I think you'll have more technical conversations around this beer.
Yeah, it's there's certain beers that you have no problem paying the price point, some of those Alaskan stuff like that. Again, knowing that this was a pepper beer, knowing that this was earmarked for the podcast, and I'm not shy about that stuff. I'm like this one, you gotta have them all. Otherwise you have no content. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, left something a little bit to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
Good. God, so I want it without the peppers, though.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I want it without the peppers. I want to try it, but it's not what we get.
Got so many more special ones to do.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize this until I was looking through all of my previous scores, but we had several 5s without you. Did I give you the 450 North cherry beer?
I did a 450 North breakfast beer.
No.
I've got to update that. No, it wasn't a breakfast one, but I will go through.
So I had a 5 on the one I did with Randy Orton. And then I had a 5 with...
Well, that was the Zombie Ice one.
Zombie Ice I did not give a 5 to.
No.
But the second beer, which was my submission...
The cherry snow cone from Artisanal?
No. This was 450. And I had expressed... I was listening back to it, and I had expressed the hope for more cherry juice. I think it was maraschino, or maybe it was grenadine.
Because I didn't...
But I still gave it a 5. I'll look into it.
I'll have to check.
If not, I think I still do have one, and I must have just forgot to give it to you.
Once you put the list in here, because I've marked all the beers, I'm going to email you the list now that I'm done with it at the conclusion, and we'll fill this out.
Yeah.
Mysteries will be solved.
So there was at least 2 5s that we had while you were gone, but one of them you have. It was the Phil expensive beer, the barley wine.
Bleed out.
Yeah. Yeah. The other one was...
Yeah, you didn't give me that bottle.
Well, I can give you the bottle if you want. I think it's still in there.
You still have it?
It might still be in the garbage can.
That'd be clever. Yeah, here's the bottle.
That would be really clever. I don't have enough
Cap
carriage
it with
house
water.
activity to change the garbage out that
I
regularly.
walk out so much of my stuff. I hardly ever use that. I walk it all out now that they gave us a roller wing. Any media episode? Any closing catastrophe or comments?
Closing catastrophe or comments?
We are still looking, Chuggalos. We are still looking, and that's another C. At a drink along.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a guest coming up. We have a strong possibility from him. This individual has to clear it with the War Department.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I know I speak for both of us when we want to get back to Crooked Handle, because it's just such a joy to get down there.
I mean, I'm always game for breweries.
And then obviously a drink along.
And a drink along. I did mention the drink along to Phil, and he was into it. But he's always into it.
That is just coordinating and technology, but we'll make it happen either a Friday or Saturday to increase involvement.
Yeah, and I think maybe we should do a special episode, not soon or it could be soon, whenever.
We got
that
250
deals with all the shit that we talk about that people don't like. Wrestling and baseball.
Where we just drink, we're not worried about the
beer.
beer.
No reviews. We
flip
just
it.
talk about what we want to talk about.
We flip it
for the people who are interested in those topics.
Yeah. Ask us questions, like...
Or
hey,
that would be good. Ask us questions.
Do you have like a curiosity about wrestling, or do you have a curiosity about Cubs baseball, from 1992?
Or Brewers baseball from 2023?
No, literally no one has that.
I have questions about Brewers baseball. What is the most... You don't have to answer this now.
The fact that we cheaped out on the best pitcher in baseball, $700,000. Mm-hmm. That was the separation and arbitration. It's complete bullshit, but whatever. $700,000 and you pissed the guy off. But anyways, who am I?
Where's he at now? He's still there.
Yeah, he's still there, but I mean,
but you'll lose him.
Way not to ingratiate yourself. Yeah, I mean, he's still club controlled, so
yeah. What is the worst result of the roof that has happened since the roof was installed?
Since it was installed, yeah, because people died when they were...
There's been some crazy shit that's happened when they didn't close it quick enough.
I do.
Or they closed it too quickly. I don't really know. But I know that some people have Milwaukee stories, and I've never heard these stories.
I've got some Milwaukee stories. Should we save this for a drink along?
Yeah, maybe we have...
Because I've got
either
a couple
the drink along, or
I
we
just
do
found
a special non-beer but drink along episode.
Yeah, non-beer review.
Yeah.
All
about baseball and wrestling.
All about ideas. I want to get to a point where we can send people beer and drink with us.
That would be great.
Drink with us.
Let's do it.
like Drinkly or whatever, like it would take so much lead time. But
It
anyways,
would take some lead time.
we're gonna get lead time this summer. I want to do a drink along.
We could definitely set up a drink along. Well, we could do a drink along where it's just drink whatever you want early in the summer.
Yeah.
Late summer, like August, early September.
Yeah.
We could go grab a shitload of one beer.
Yeah. And mail it
out. Yeah. You got to be ready though. You got to be dialed in. You got to be ready to join either Skype or Facebook Live or YouTube Live or whatever it is.
YouTube Live, because I think that's what we did the most successful one that we did.
But were we able to bring people into that?
Like video wise? No, they could comment.
They can comment. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Awesome. Again, they're here. The technology's there. Believe me, we want to do it. It's just making it happen.
Yep, that's it. We want to make it happen. 234. We've gotten through a lot of episodes, but we got a lot more to bring you. Muscles and beer. That's what this podcast is all about. Thanks for joining us. 234 Brew Crew Podcast. Here, I'll do it. There it is. I scratched my head.